Here we go. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode where we're in North Alabama. It's cooling down, but the fishing's heating up, and we're chasing some big old bass.
Fish on.
Dig it.
I'm gonna go out there and see if I can't make it happen. This is really the essence of what kayak fishing is all about. This is my kayak. Get yourself one. There he is.
Yeah! Look at that tank!
Fish on!
Oh my God! Good night!
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know when I invited Austin to come on this trip it was gonna be red panty night. I filmed with my son Austin from the time he was 3 or 4 years old. Now my son works for us full time as part of the production efforts to bring you guys the show. I really expect us to take to the next level. What's up guys, welcome back. Joined today by Mr. Dan Truitt. Dan is very well known in these parts as a paddling guide. We're on DeKalb County Lake today. I know fish is not your forte, but talk to us today about, what your plan is.
I'm gonna try to fish.
No. You can definitely fish. You can try to catch. Your brother's already out there like
And your boat's out there too.
gone, and my boat's also leaving, so we're gonna get after it. Here we go, boys and girls. One of the things that we decided to do this fall was to explore a lot of places that we haven't fished before. And one of those places was DeKalb County Lake. And there's been some absolute giants caught in that place. It's a 25 horsepower restricted lake. If you're willing to cover the 4 miles that makes it up, you can get to some water that gets very little pressure, even though it is a public lake.
My name is Dan Truitt. I'm actually a programmer by day, and then on weekends I put on my cape and kayak all over the place. Paddling in the background here is my brother, Dave. He's actually the real fisherman.
So there's a fish on. You gotta be kidding me.
Started, when we first got sent home during the pandemic. So I thought, man, I need to get me a kayak, get out there and start doing that. I feel like I'm living my second childhood. Luckily, Southern Paddler's famous enough to get hooked up with Chad Hoover, so I had to ride his coattails in on that one.
For years, I have really encouraged folks to learn about paddling to find better places to fish. And Dan Truitt, Southern Paddler, was one of those guys that I found. He has a wealth of information on where to find these beautiful places to paddle, which also just so happen to be great places to fish.
The more remote and quiet a place is, the more I'm going to love it. Like I said, I do fish, but more times than not, I'm going to be out here just to paddle, to take pictures, just to enjoy the scenery and take it all in, enjoy nature. Squirrels running around on the banks, and obviously, you're going to always see great blue herons.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you're fishing along and you see a heron on the bank, that heron's actually fishing too. Like, that's what it does for a living. It's truly a pro fisherman. If it doesn't catch a fish, it doesn't eat. So of course, when you come like easing up into its spot, it's not real happy. When it's flying away, that is a wading bird form of profanity. It's going, and if you could translate it, you'd probably have to be like, bleep, bleep, bleep. And I'll tell you what's funny is they never do it until they're good and past you. It's like they take off all silently and graceful, and then when they get right about here where they're out of range, then they start squawking, and they're kind of like internet bullies. Just it's a good thing it's definitely not a mating call, otherwise I'd have like 1,000 of them converging on me right now.
Oh, what was that?
Miss one?
I think so. I'm gonna do something real crazy like pink bubble gum or something just stupid. For me, it's last resort just because it's so stinking crazy. It doesn't match anything in nature. And the action slow as it is, I figure, man, why not?
It's kind of funny watching Dave try to figure out the pattern. Never be afraid to throw the bubble gum. In fact, I don't know why we don't throw bubble gum more often, because it works.
We're about to find out. Watch me catch a fish on the first cast on bubble gum.
Oh, fish on.
I mean, let's face it, bubble gum works everywhere for everything.
Come on, little fella.
And listen, don't worry about fishing pink if you're secure in your masculinity.
Appreciate you, little fella. I'm a stinking color I should have been using all day long.
Chad doing any good?
All right, so first guy on the board. On the old spinner bait right off the tip of some wood right there. So we're gonna see if we can't duplicate that pattern, but find a little bigger fish. One fish does not a pattern make, especially one little fish. Actually, a lot of little fish doesn't make a pattern. Unless you're looking for a little fish pattern, in which case it does.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for a bigger bite, but I can't complain. You know, I avoided the skunk, so that's a good day.
There's fish. Oh! Good thing I got glasses on, man. I'm trying to put that bullet weight right on my eyeball. That'd be a bad day, wouldn't it?
Here we go. I feel like this lake is holding out on me, but that it's basically just building up energy right now. So once we hit the right spot, the right time, it's all gonna ka-cha. And it's just gonna be like when Thor hammer hits the ground and all that stuff goes everywhere. It's gonna be like that. Chad Hoover Fishing is brought to you by Dakota Lithium. Go farther, last longer, play harder. Bonafide Kayaks, ultimate fishability. Power Pole Micro Anchor, swift, silent, secure, and small. Yak Attack, make it yours. Anchor Wizard, revolutionizing the boat anchoring world. OPS, Outdoor Product Solutions.
Oh, there it is.
I just don't know of a region that's as big as North Alabama that has done as good a job of incorporating access to the outdoors. And conservation is such a big part of how Alabama operates.
Ooh, there you go. In Alabama, luckily, navigable waterways are public, so if you can get a boat in it, it's open to everybody.
Alabama, for its size, is one of the most biodiverse states in the Union.
Fish on.
Regardless of what kind of fishing you're into, there's going to be something for you in Alabama.
Basically, I set my structure scan up half the distance from the bank. So I'm about 80 feet from the bank, so I set my graph up to 40 feet. Everybody fishes the cover you do see. 90% of the time, the fish are gonna be on the cover you don't see. Oh, look at this. So that is a school of fish right there. You know, you're looking for fish, you find the fish, you figure out how to catch them. So one of the real benefits of the power pole that not a lot of people think about is like, I got this wind blowing me up into this pocket. And even though you don't put the power pole all the way down to like lock yourself in place, if you put it down about halfway, just to create enough drag, it actually slows your drift down, and then I can sit here and pick this thing apart, and I'll get off more casts to these targets than I would if I just let the wind blow me all the way in. Little skinny dude.
I'm heading for this cove because I'm just...
Yeah, I really wanted to fish all those laydowns, but dadgum, it was just too much wind. Motorless boat struggle is real.
For Dave and I, you know, we don't have the power poles or anchors or a trolling motor, so we're very susceptible to the wind. It makes it tough to fish. So we moved back in this corner. I'm going to give it a try and see if we can catch a few more where it's nice and quiet. Got the old leaf fish. No limit on those.
There's a fish. Oh, fish in a tree, and I caught the tree.
I think he's still on, dude. No, he's gone. Cheese and crackers. Wow, he wrapped me all the way under the tree.
The tree pounder.
What in the world is it?
When I see a nice place like this, I always say to myself, if I was a fish, this is where I'd be. Strangely though, the fish don't always agree.
Got one on. I thought I was on.
All right, sun's out. That's cute to cover up my bald head. I think my hat's about lost its courage.
There's a bigger lesson to be learned when it comes to fall fishing. When you find fish in the fall, you know that they were relatively close in their summer pattern.
There it is.
Oh, God.
When it comes time for that spring to summer transition, they're going to use these same travel corridors, going to use a lot of the same cover and structure to make this transition. In other words, there's things you can learn in the fall that will benefit you in the spring, that'll benefit you in the summer, and it will benefit you in the winter.
Got a little largemouth. Had a dry spell there for a while, but found one that finally hopped on there.
Oh, snap. What's that? Something just broke me off, dude.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The other great thing about the fall is even if you're a fair weather fisherman, you're going to get a little bit of everything. It's going to be crisp and cool and hoodie weather in the morning, and then it's going to be warm in the afternoon, but you're not going to be overwhelmed with one extreme or the other.
Now tell me, how big do these boots look on camera? We'll be honest with y'all, my toes are a little sweaty right now. These boots felt good at 7 a.m., but they turned into a little oven.
A lot of you guys might be watching how Dan and Dave are fishing and asking yourself, why do they have their feet outside the boat? You guys don't realize this. There is actually a name for that style. That is the Huckleberry Fin or Tom Sawyer approach to kayak fishing. And back before seats came up off the boat, that's actually how pretty much everybody fished. One of the great things about North Alabama is you just have so many opportunities to get out in the great outdoors, and especially when it comes to fishing. So we're gonna see if we can turn fishing into catching right now. One of my favorite things about the kayak fishing community as a whole is it's like a big family. And so you can always pick up the phone and call somebody in the community. So I called my buddy Kason Wallace and asked him if he had been on any fish lately. He said, yeah, man, I've been doing really well at Duck River. You should meet me out there.
This is a Highland Reservoir here in Coleman, Alabama. It's the public water source as a backup to Katoma here in Coleman. My name's Kason Wallace. I fish with Coleman kayak anglers, all the North Alabama kayak anglers, all the local clubs, and I ended up getting into kayak bass fishing competitively. There's one.
I met Kason Wallace the same way I meet a lot of great kayak fishermen, and that's through our kayak bass fishing events.
Better than nothing. 12 inches, solid.
Then I had the opportunity to share the water with Kason and figured out exactly why he's catching big fish, because the kid is an absolute hammer.
One.
Kason's got one.
A big
Big one? Yeah, buddy. That's a good one.
barely hooked. This is about a 17-incher. We're here at Duck River. About 4 or 5 years ago, they stocked it with 2 strains of bass, the northern and the southern Florida largemouth strain. And I believe that I have a cross of the two, which they call an F1. And the reason that I believe it's an F1 is the corner of the mouth doesn't run as long as largemouth do, and the difference between the collateral fin and the back of the dorsal fin is just much shorter.
The other thing that makes Alabama great for fishing is that they invest very heavily in stocking, providing both numerous fish to get recreational anglers excited about catching, and they also focus on stocking programs that produce trophy fish. Another thing I really love about the kayak fishing community is a lot of brands have been born of the passion that we all find when we start fishing from these little plastic vessels. And Mark Drury's story is no different.
Hi, my name's Mark Drury, and I am the owner and founder of Rogue Fishing Company. So one of our best-selling products is our phone tether. It's a silicone case. It comes just like this with the tether and a carabiner. and then your phone is safe and secure.
You're very appreciated in the community around here because how many of us have dropped our phones in the water? I dropped 2 of them, and then I finally was like, let me check out this Rogue deal, and I was like, this is a lifesaver.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, you have to use your phone in a kayak tournament or to get a picture, a selfie, whatever. It's your life, you know, like it's your memories, it's everything. And so why wouldn't you protect that?
And it's not like it's a expensive option because you're saving potentially some people $1,000.
Yeah, $20 insurance on a $1,000 phone.
All right, guys, so one of the biggest advantages of fishing in the fall, in my opinion, especially in places where they draw down the bodies of water that you're fishing on, is that lots of cover and structure exposes itself. For example, like right here in front of me, I have one of those MLF structures and it's completely out of water. I've got an old road bed that's coming down into the water right here, and when I drove over it with my structure scan on, I could see that it literally continued out to about 30, 40 yards off the bank. If you mark those locations while the water's low, when the water's back up, you actually have a gold mine at your fingertips of things that you can go target that maybe other people would have to spend hours trying to find.
Got this guy off of a chatterbait, a jackhammer, with a chatty chartreusey trailer to it. Nice little fall fish.
Pretty little largemouth. Oh yeah. They are actually firing up.
Any fish is a good fish.
Chad Hoover Fishing is brought to you by Dakota Lithium. Go farther, last longer, play harder. Power Pole Micro Anchor. Swift, silent, secure, and small. Yak Attack. Make it yours. KBF. Kayak Bass Fishing's premier resource. Yeti. Built for the wild. Fishing Chaos. The best fishing app for your tackle box. So the thing that makes Alabama, particularly North Alabama, unique for me is it's got a little bit of everything that I love. I can go out and fish big water. I can fish backwater bays and sloughs and isolated areas. I don't think that there's anywhere else on the planet where you have all of that within an hour or 2 drive like North Alabama.
In this particular fishery, you have a little bit of everything from rock walls to ledges and points and all kinds of different structure.
You have lots of different types of fishing. So really to stay on fishing, to catch fish here, you have to become skilled at different techniques and tactics.
North Alabama is everything that a competitive kayak angler, competitive boat angler can need to train for the rest of its career.
Oh yeah! If there was ever gonna be a laboratory where you constructed a super fisherman, this is it. Look at that thing. Yeah! Went to the black jig on Kaysen's advice because it was working, but look at that toad right there, boy. Jigs just catch big fish, man. They just do. You want a stiff rod, either fast or even extra fast when it comes to fishing the jig. So to demonstrate this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pitch the jig out there, and if I was working this thing along the bottom and I ran into that rock, I'm gonna feel it, okay? So first and foremost, you're gonna get a lot more feel out of an extra fast or fast action rod because they're just that much more sensitive. Once I feel something, I like to give the line back a little bit, and what it does is it lets that jig relax, and then I just raise my rod tip and kind of scoot it over the top. So if you notice, that jig literally just fell right over the rock. If there was a bass sitting there, it's still in the strike zone, but the biggest reason that you want that extra fast or fast action rod is because if you go with a rod similar to what Kaysen has here, and that rod is super flexible, as you see right there, what happens is when you get that jig on the other side of a piece of cover like that, first of all, you don't have as much feel. But here's what happens when you get ready to pull. See how the rod is starting to bend? And what happens is when it pulls loose, that jig shoots forward 6 feet, and I literally barely loaded the rods. And if you're in a treetop or something, when it shoots forward, it's gonna wrap around a tree limb, and that's what causes hang-ups or snags that you can't get out of.
I'm basically just letting the wind carry me in this heavier jig, pull over these rocks. The wind blows me and I'm pulling this jig up over these rocks off the ledge. It spins into open water there right before it drops off. Biggin. 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 Oh, stay down. She's feisty. She's drip and drag. Goodness gracious. She's still got a lot of fight in her. Come to Duck River Reservoir in Coleman, Alabama, and this is some fish that you could catch yourself.
Fishing is, like I've said time and time again, 90+% mental. And if you have the right mindset, you're going to consistently find yourself having more success. It's gonna happen, boys and girls. It ain't a maybe. It is going to happen. Almost like we scripted it and we sent a letter to the bass that said, listen, I'm gonna send you a drop pin to a spot that I need you to be at. Friday, November 4th. About sunset, you're gonna see this lure coming by going, and we're gonna need you to inhale that lure. And once you do, come up out of the water and bend, flip-flop sideways and land flat-sided. Boom, grand finale. That's what we're gonna need you to do. I'm gonna cast up there shallow. Try to get me one of them fish that's so shallow that it's breathing dirt. Up there rooting around like a little piggy, like. I've actually been doing this show now for over a decade. I've had some of the best experiences in the world, traveling to some just unbelievable places. But I gotta be honest with you, I have been nomadic my whole life, and now I'm just ready to be home. I just have fallen in love with North Alabama. So I now call North Alabama home, and I plan on just shooting my entire show here. I'm really gonna be able to spend more time drilling into the techniques, the tactics, the approach. I'm excited about what the future holds, and I'm even more excited to be able to share these adventures with you guys. Cue the rock and roll music. Oh, bro! That thing just demolished that. Got that pretty fish right there on a whopper plopper, which the only thing better than catching a fish is catching one on a topwater. So you just got to keep whining and keep grinding and keep dragging and just keep on keeping on. Ah.